Sophie Dosey is a talented contortionist with a twisted sense of humor, so to speak. Here she does a crab walk backwards at top speeds, with her head barely hanging above the floor. This is a really creative, ingenious way to scare people that I've never seen done before, but I can't help but think it's a little dangerous too. I mean, if she steps on her hair while walking like this, her neck could snap all the way back. Maybe I'm just exaggerating, but I think I see it almost happen multiple times as she races down the aisle, which adds a whole new level of fear to the overall situation. This was taken by a vacationer near Amsterdam in July of 2017. Looks normal at first, but the more you zoom in, the more you see a scary face gritting its teeth at you. The nose looks practically non-existent, and the eyes are nothing more than blackened lids. The mouth looks like a sneer. People are saying the face looks like it was photoshopped, and the face was possibly imported from the movie The Exorcist. I think it could just be a girl squinting in the sun, in which case the internet is making a big deal out of nothing. I mean, we've all had less than flattering pictures taken of us when we weren't paying attention. This photograph is so scary to some that you definitely wouldn't be able to handle watching a video of this freaky incident. One doesn't exist that I know of, but I'll continue to try and hunt down any video evidence if possible. I have Al Qasimia of a ghost hunting channel called The Horror. The Horror is looking for a phantom figure said to haunt this building in Israel. A ghost who is apparently quite eager to be caught on camera.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu bikalimatillah at-tammat.
He keeps hearing a sink drip even though no water is coming from the faucet because no water runs to the building.
Bismillah. Bismillah.
The ghost hunter also detects small movements in windowless rooms that are devoid of all life.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. A'udhu bikalimatillah at-tammat.
That's when something inside of him says that trouble is near, that he needs to check out the window. A mysterious and shadowy figure is caught on camera, an apparition capable of powerful acts. Based on what happens next, the ghost hunter knows he's been marked by the jinn, but there is no time to get out of the way as the spirit seemingly teleports inside.
Bismillah. 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 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A'udhu bikalimat.
The featureless shadow figure peers around the corner and the brave ghost hunter gives chase. When he rounds the corner, all traces of the paranormal entity are gone. If this is not paranormal, then I wonder how the ghost was able to disappear within seconds. There are no editing cuts that I can see. If you hear this sound, run for cover. Rays of light shine upward in this video, published to Paranormal World in December of 2020. But that's not the only oddity in this clip. Turn the sound on full volume and you'll be blasted into the midst of a prehistoric jungle. The light then turns into what looks to be a winged figure, and the sound becomes more symphonic. The creature forms a sphere before its wings reappear, perhaps preparing for takeoff. The man filming takes this as his cue to leave. But judging with a creature like this, he can run but he can't hide. An encounter with a lady in white might seem harmless, but this one is 100% impure. This scary video was originally published by Exploring with Danny. As Danny is exploring a wooded area, he remarks that he saw something that has completely vanished.
And the last time I was here, there was a demon here. I was faced with a demon. And this is the location right here. Now I am going to show you.
He shouts into the darkness, and that's when you see that something has not completely vanished at all. A black-haired figure with a pale face lurks just out of sight. When Danny zooms in, you can see that the female figure is making its way toward him, out of the mouth of a tunnel.
Hello? It's right there. Hello? Are you okay? Hello?
The figure climbs out of the darkness, her dirty white dress getting dirtier, while Danny commands her to stay back. She doesn't listen.
In the name of Jesus, I command you to stay back, right now. Stay right back.
Danny turns around to make a run for it, but the figure continues to stalk him, climbing up a hill and creeping toward him.
Stay back! I'm warning you! Jesus, I command you to stay away!
What is this evil, and what does she want with Danny? He'd better escape before she pulls him back down into her lair.
What the
A YouTuber named G, the one and only, starts off this video immediately looking creeped out and a little bit panicked about something, but we are not yet let in on whatever his current situation is. Presumably a friend of his starts to film him as he proceeds to walk into a room which is absolutely filled with Bionicle toys, which is surely any young kid's dream, but maybe this set of Bionicle toys are not meant to be played with.
There's nothing up here.
They are claiming that a Bionicle's head moves on its own. Let's slow this footage down and see if we can see it. See, it's the tallest Bionicle figure. Oh, I see it now. I think it's this one right up here. Although it only happens for just a brief second, if you slow down the footage and zoom in, you can see that the tallest Bionicle figure standing up actually appears to move its head slightly all by itself. Of course, it is entirely possible that this particular figure is battery powered and has a built-in feature which allows for its head to move around, but that seems like reaching for answers. Plus the uploader who owns the toy is creeped out by this, so it can't be battery powered. He says that he doesn't believe in ghosts, but is having a hard time dismissing this clip. Let this video be a warning that not even your own childhood toys are safe from being taken over by the spirit of ghosts.
Bro, this door keeps moving on its own.
This door is moving by itself, but I suspect it's just the wind. With that said, I think I can hear some voices in the background, yet the reflection in the glass shows no one is there. Listen for yourself. After seeing a video like this, I'm gonna go check my locks. This leaked video is reportedly taken by two friends somewhere in the United States. Their dog Jake starts to bark with excitement and really doesn't seem to want to go any further. Watch how the animal crosses directly in front of their snowmobile multiple times, almost like he's warning them to stop and turn around. The two friends don't really think much of it and keep going straight, and that's when they come face to face with it. A nearby tall gray creature sends them racing away. The alien-like creature doesn't make much of a sound at all, or at least not one that the camera can pick up, but I do think I can see its head turn towards them at the 2-minute and 20-second mark. The way the dog is acting before this happens also makes me believe this leak video could be real. A group of ghost hunters are exploring a notoriously haunted retirement home in Ohio at 1 a.m. when they manage to find something strange and unsettling.
To the bathroom. Here it is again at half speed.
One of the ghost hunters barely manages to catch this fleeting shadow while turning around. The room to the right is completely empty and nobody is inside, plus everybody else is in a different section of the house. It doesn't look like the camera is simply adjusting to different lighting conditions, so there really is absolutely no reason for a shadow to be on the right side of the screen like that. To me, it looks like something is possibly making a quick escape. A YouTuber on Long Island, New York, started a channel called My Haunted Diary because his rental house is filled with paranormal activity. The tenant before him passed away, and now he is left with some weird things caught on tape for us to analyze. Tell me if you heard the ghost moan or not.
Did you see some shadow? Freaking me out. Did you hear that? It was like a freaking moaning voice right around here.
The more he listens, the more scary noises he seems to hear.
I'm kind of nervous right now. I'm creeped out. I'm not going to pretend. It's pretty creepy. I don't know how much more I can take it up here. I'm freaking out. Banging back there.
Whatever is in here with him seems to sense he is scared and feeds off his fear. I know sometimes houses can make creaking noises, but this part is probably the best paranormal evidence ever caught by him.
Just coming to visit you again, so I don't know if you're around. But I've come back.
The timing of such a clear response indicates that he is, in fact, having an interaction with someone rather than his imagination. Freaky, right? Grandma, is that you? Published to YouTube by Mordecai's Captured Moments in April of 2021. Mordecai writes, "One night years ago, the chair on my friend's porch was rocking on its own. The video shows an old wooden rocking chair standing outside a pair of wooden framed glass doors. The chair begins rocking in an unusual fashion, not like it's been disturbed by a breeze or knocked by something, but as though someone is sitting in it, rocking and halting according to whim. Apparently, this isn't the only scary incident that occurred in Mordecai's friend's house. She responds to a YouTuber that her house was so deeply scary that she never let anyone know how scared she really was. Thankfully, she moved 2,000 miles away from this haunted place. All she can hope for is whoever is rocking that chair didn't follow." Two Turkish workers are trying their best to make sense of this street cam video, but they still can't believe what was recorded earlier that night. A tiny gray humanoid whose head barely reaches the bumper of a nearby white van crosses the road and proceeds down the sidewalk. About midway through its journey, the strange creature levitates high into the air and takes approximately 56 seconds to come back down. It lands in roughly the same spot as before, so I don't know what purpose this short flight served. Maybe it was trying to leave the area and failed. The two men are too stunned to speak for most of the video, but they do say something at the 3-minute and 8-second mark. That would be great if someone could translate. If this creature is real, then maybe they are talking more about its origins. Published by Scott Walters in February of 2015. This video again shows that drones over common land or private property are an annoyance to most and a threat to others. Walters explains the precursor to the man's anger in his description. Guy started yelling at me, asked if I had a permit to fly at a kid's park. I asked if he was joking. He said he wasn't, so I told him I needed to land. This is where the video started. After asking again if the operator has a permit to be on a children's playground, the man pushes the drone out of his face. He and the operator exchange words, with the operator telling the man to mind his own business.
Don't touch my stuff.
Do you have a permit to be on a children's playground?
You don't need one. Get out of my face.
You're the one who got in my face, dude.
You're in front of my shit. Look, we just walked over here. I understand. Mind your own business. Don't come question anybody about their stuff.
And the man stating that they're on public property. The argument quickly escalates as anger takes hold. Even as the man turns to leave with his child, the operator continues to shout at him. Those on the aggressive man's side, like Demo Man, said rightly that the drone operator could be liable if his aircraft fell down or flew into a child's head, and others noted that the man was leaving, while the drone operator continued to yell and provoke. Those on the operator's side, like Eric Mendez, said that no one is entitled to privacy in the public domain, while others noted that drone operators are often attacked for something that's just a hobby. Whose side are you on? State-run buses that run through Hamashal Road Transport Corporation, or HRTC, are known to have some of the most treacherous bus routes in the world. Unpaved, muddy, and wet roads are just the beginning. There's also the landscape, mountainous and threatening. Here's just one of those routes, captured on camera. On the route Manali to Kannur, the ride is slow going as the roads are wobbly trenches in the mud. In this video, you see a train of buses precariously rocking back and forth as they meander alongside tall piles of snow, rugged mountains towering in the background. The large buses don't look so much like they're driving, rather they look like they're hopping. The cravats in the muddy road are assumingly frozen over, resulting in a jackhammer of a ride. And while the cliff edge on the right hand side of the buses don't appear to be a clear drop off, it's safe to say that one small overcorrection in the mud could potentially send a bus rolling down the mountain. I'm going to play it safe and steer clear of those routes. This cat is playfully smacking around a Brillo pad when it stops to look straight up, ears back completely frozen, almost as if someone invisible is standing over it. Next, an orb floats upwards and makes it jump straight into the air. After a while, the house pet regains interest in its toy, only to stop and look around again, slightly bewildered. It looks at its owner briefly and then follows the orb with its head in a swooping motion, possibly the very same orb as before. There's no doubt that the cat sees something out of the ordinary as it tracks the orb perfectly. Both times it completely loses interest in the toy and seems somewhat alarmed over an unseen presence. I guess there could be some other explanation, but if I was alone and saw all of this going on, I would definitely question if my house was haunted. Sometimes if you want to know if a room is haunted or not, all you have to do is ask.
Move it. Holy sh**.
It's creepy, but I'm not sure this object really moved on its own. It sounds like a fan is blowing from side to side and could have moved the object instead of a ghost. Tell me if you hear it.
Holy sh**.
He might have put the bottle at just the right distance to make it seemingly move upon his command. Is this moment paranormal to you? I'm on the fence with this one. These tourists left with a souvenir they didn't want. Published by Mystic House / Horror Stories, this scary video was reportedly captured at a popular tourist attraction in Indonesia. Amongst the brambles on a jungle path, a creepy creature is spotted peering out from behind a stone. The humanoid-looking creature's head is adorned with strange ram-like horns. Its skin is a dull gray, its eyes heavily shadowed. Is this just a local having fun with the tourists? Or is this evidence of an unknown species lurking in the wilderness? What happens when you find a GoPro with found footage? More Bad Ideas published this video of his findings in July of 2017. The video starts with a YouTuber mounting a motorbike that he's going to take for a spin. After about 10 minutes of riding footage, cut to the footage on this GoPro he discovered. When he opens the GoPro, a piece of paper falls out. It reads GORB 565464344, a password. He plugs this password in, and he finds his nightmares on video. First shown is a masked being, creepy as ever. Next is this mannequin-like figure moving sporadically towards the camera, with creepy carnival music playing in the background. The next is a young man holding a skull, talking about how you have to make sure it's the real thing in order for someone to pay good money for it. Then back to the masked being. This is when the YouTuber shuts the video down and wipes the memory card clean. Many in the comments think this video is cursed. Do you feel differently after watching it? A bottle of cleaning solution is far from scary until it moves across the counter on its own. The clerk has his back turned, so it's not him. It never moves when he's looking. He can sense something strange, but when he turns around, the object stops. He probably has the bottle out because he wiped the counter down. If the surface is still wet, then that could be why the object is sliding towards him. But if that were the reason, then why would it stop moving every time he turns around? That part seems more like a ghost is messing with him. So is our freaked out friend in India really working front desk at a haunted office building? Based on the weird things caught on CCTV, I really think the evidence presents a strong case for the paranormal. Everyone knows you must drive defensively when you're on a motorcycle. After all, there's nothing between you and the pavement, except whatever you're wearing, and a helmet. But sometimes, no matter how defensively you drive, you learn how little others value your life. Delta 394 learned that in July of 2017, when he published a video of his encounter with a crazy driver. In the video description, he explained, "Guy in the blue Fiat Panda tries running into me while cutting across lanes. I wasn't having any of it, decided I would confront him in the supermarket car park, and he did confront the man, all of which was caught on camera."
Do you know how to use lanes, you prick?
You. It's not you. You smashed my bloody thing. Why don't you see where you're going?
Why don't you go in the right lane? I'm on the left.
In the right place.
The man claims the biker smashed his mirror, while the biker claims he almost ran him over. As it turns out, the Fiat driver didn't like how the biker was driving, frequently slowing down and speeding up again. The biker then questioned what was more important, the man's mirror or his life. Most in the comments section seem to agree that the Fiat man deserved every bit of that confrontation. Who is in the wrong here? What do you think? This man named Abdullah knows of a haunted lab where past experiments gone wrong have created just the right circumstances for a scary exploration video. Some scary symbols give Abdullah a bad feeling about going any further. A strange eye with the number 8 inside, a creepy figure with horns, no face and long, sharp fingers next to a pentagram. I wonder what that's all about. They walk past the symbols and into a dark corner that swallows their flashlight with ease. The next room is the scariest place of all for reasons that they can sense, but cannot put into words. Later, when they review the video and see what's been caught on tape, their fears are explained.
وين هو؟ سمعت صوت رجل تمشي. طب منه؟ أرنب، مو أرنب، مو حيوان.
An unknown object floats towards them. I don't know if it's an apparition, a ghost orb, or just a scared bird, but neither do they, and that's what makes it so creepy. Considering that they did just see that weird warning of a monster on the wall, and they're exploring an abandoned lab where experiments have gone wrong, I think this could have been something worth running away from. A group of ghost hunters called PXTV go deep in the Wombwell Woods, a haunted forest in the UK where many people sadly go to take their lives. They split up to cover maximum ground, and one of them, Steve, finds a spot he deems suitable to begin an EVP session, which stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon. He sets up his EVP box and asks any spirits nearby to make a light go on. When it does, he asks for 2 lights, but gets this verbal warning instead.
Can you make 2 lights light up? Ovulus has just said run.
But something descends upon Steve before he gets a chance to do as told. I didn't exactly see anything, but Steve says that he was pushed out of the way by something nearby. And when he looks at his EVP box, the translator displays the word run written in all capitals. I'm not sure if there's any way to tamper with these devices and make them say pre-programmed messages or not, but assuming this video really is unaltered, then the evidence is all right there to see. Question: what's scarier than a theater at night? Answer: a haunted one. Published to TikTok, this appears to show the phantom caretaker of a haunted theater. Jay says the theater is supposed to be empty, but he keeps hearing a noise, so he's searching the theater to find its source.
Alright guys, so I work at this old theater and been hearing a noise. It's a really beautiful theater, as you can see, if you can see it at all. But I keep hearing a noise in here and there's not supposed to be anybody here, so...
Suddenly, he glimpses something in an upper theater box. He can't quite capture what it is, but after backing up a bit and zooming in, he manages to focus on this. It looks like the ghostly figure of a little boy dressed in a suit, although the image is blurry. The scary figure is distinctly there, leering out from a theater box. Phantom of the Opera? An intruder? Maybe he's just a ghost fanboy waiting patiently for the play to start.
And there is literally sounds coming in my basement right now, and it's freaking me out. Kids are upstairs asleep, and I'm gonna go down and check right now. This is freaky right now, because I rarely go in my basement. It's an unfinished basement.
A YouTuber named An Everyday Canadian has been afraid of his basement ever since he recorded an incident that he cannot explain.
Oh, what the f is that sound?
Fear grips his throat, but he knows what he must do. He'll never know what's causing the scary noises if his only reaction is to stand in the doorway. He knows he will be going down the stairs into the basement where a scary thing is waiting to be found.
Like, I don't even want to go down there. It's dark. Hold on, guys. Let me just get my light on here quick. This is freaking me out.
He thought the only thing scarier than going down there would be not knowing what it was. He was wrong.
I hate basements. My laundry machine just stopped. It's just me in the basement. What the f was that? What the?
Sometimes the source of a weird noise in your house is scarier than you can imagine. Sometimes going down in your basement results in witnessing paranormal activity that you wish you could erase from your camera and from your mind. And sometimes it's a toy on a string. A YouTuber named Rifat claims that going to this haunted place in Palestine proved to be a psychological undoing. Let's see what was so scary in this paranormal exploration gone wrong. He seems to have trouble keeping his balance and stumbles backwards twice for no reason.
يا شباب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا شباب قلت أجرب الله يقطع شر يوم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
At this point, I think he realizes there's no way he should be falling 3 times in 5 minutes and thinks a ghost could be near. As he is trying to decide if this is really happening or just his imagination, some of the best paranormal EVP evidence ever recorded is caught on camera.
هذه قصة وأنا والله العظيم خايف يعني ممنوع في الليل عن جد ممنوع يعني نطلع هيك كمان هيك إيش هاد؟
Loud and scary screaming noises are coming from the woods. The screams of a human, most certainly, not an animal.
من وين أطلع؟
He doesn't investigate the noise because this could be a spirit setting up a trap that he is too smart to fall for. I'm glad he didn't go any further. If he had gone any deeper into the forest to see what it was, then this scary video might not ever have been uploaded. I have a feeling that he narrowly avoided getting ambushed by some group of bandits or even something paranormal. What's the creepiest thing that you found on an urban exploration? I'm betting it's not creepier than what Explore Abandoned Places with Tattooed Tony Alton found in St. Louis. The YouTuber published this in February of 2017, writing, "We found part of a spinal column in the basement of this creepy abandoned house." The YouTuber goes on to say that the entire street is abandoned. No big surprise if it's scary and dangerous. Tattooed Tony says the houses here were built sometime between 1910 and 1916. As he enters the first building, you can see that it's completely tattered and dilapidated. The wallpaper is flaking from the walls. The ground is absolutely covered in debris and filth. There's still furniture left over in some of the upstairs rooms. It looks as though whoever lived in these homes just up and left one day, leaving everything behind. As he walks through the building, you can hear wind whipping through the place, so it's understandable why the ceilings and all the walls are flaking. But it's when Tony heads into the basement that things get really chilling. Here, he comes across part of a spinal column. Some in the comments debate whether it was from an animal or a human. Whatever the species, Tony wrote, it was a little spooky. Urban exploration can have its risks. The question is now, what is the story behind the spinal column? Jim Lin is visiting Harbin, Japan, and now faces bowl after bowl of gourmet insects. The pressure is on to sample the culture by eating as many different dishes as he can. At 4 minutes and 1 second, the juices of a plump cicada hits the back of his throat with a loud squirt.
Oh, it's gushy. Oh, it's gushy.
The insides look wet and green, and not like something I would look forward to trying. How would you even tell if this was cooked right? But there's still more bugs to eat. This oversized grasshopper looks more like a crayfish. They are in a busy market with music and people having conversations everywhere, and yet the crunch is louder than anything else going on. When in Rome, do as the Romans do is an age-old expression that means you should follow the rules of other cultures in their country, but I don't think everyone could handle this bug buffet. It may just make your jaw drop. The Vancouver Paranormal Society investigates a house whose owner has been complaining of strange activity during late hours. They gather in the living room and decide to address the spirit outright. You can hear 2 taps after they try and get its attention.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions.
They next explain the rules of communication and get no response.
Give me a knock for yes or 2 knocks for no.
That means it actually tapped twice to signify no. When they said they were going to ask it a series of questions, not only did it respond, but it somehow knew what it was going to be asked before they even said the question, as if that wasn't weird enough. As soon as they ask the spirit if it used to live here, they get a visual disturbance in front of the pillow that's in the woman's lap.
Did you used to live here?
Somehow the team misses all of these signs and declares the house to be uninhabited by spirits. After watching these instances, however, I beg to differ. Exploring the woods goes wrong when a black bear picks up this girl's scent and curiously wanders well into her personal space. Now she and 3 other women have to remain as still and calm as possible, in the hopes that the wild animal will lose interest and move on. At 22 seconds, it seems curious about the way her hair smells, and I really hope she isn't wearing any scented shampoo, especially fruit or honey scented, just when it looks like this strange animal encounter. is over. The bear swings back and sniffs her leg, which finally gets a reaction and makes her flinch. Look at her face at 48 seconds and you can see her lips are tightly pressed to prevent a scream from escaping, which could set it into a frenzy. The bear recoils and playfully swats at her leg twice before deciding it's outnumbered and not worth it. This definitely has to be one of the scariest encounters to have in the woods, and probably the closest this group has ever been to becoming bear food. Alarming CCTV footage from a home security system in India appears to depict rare paranormal activity haunting this man's home. Caught on camera is a malevolent paranormal entity that comes from under the stairs. The man doesn't know how to fight back as he is lifted into the air and taken against his will and presumably screaming for help. There should be more security videos to go along with it, but only one has been uploaded so far. If this is camera 2, then I want to see the paranormal evidence from camera 1. Otherwise, this could be fake. With that out of the way, what I find especially frightening is how, at 45 seconds, the dark matter appears to concentrate around his face and his waist, just like arms grabbing him from behind. Small details like that make me wonder if something scary really is haunting his home. I wish there were more videos to show us what happens next, but what do you think? Is this a real paranormal video? A TikToker named Mark Anthony catches this strange activity at a post office after hours. Some kind of hanging display swings all by itself while an identical display stays still. I think it could just be blowing under an AC vent, but then again, in the very beginning you can see all of the other wall displays in the other doors stay still, so it is weird that out of all of these, only one moves. Some kids, flashlights, a tunnel, and the darkness of night. These ingredients never fail to be a recipe for disaster. Published in December 2012 by Timothy L. Shabu, a group of kids decide to enter a sewer at night with nothing but flashlights to guide them. They should have expected what came next. They crawl into the depths of the tunnel, waiting for the creature to make himself known, but when it does, you wish it hadn't. The figure springs towards the boys and all mayhem breaks loose as the entire group tries to scurry out of the tunnel at once. When they do finally break free of the tunnel and its creature, a sigh of relief washes over them. Many viewers of this video feel the same way. The Potato Llamas wrote, "Reminds me of when there's a spider hiding under a rock, and the second you lift it, it runs at you. But what was this thing crawling deep in the tunnel?" Some think it was a monkey, judging by the noises the creature made, others special effects. I don't know what it is, but it's made me want to stay out of sewage tunnels at night, or at any time really. If you're going to enter an abandoned hospital, you better have some patience, because you might just come across some squatters. Ruin Road published this footage in April of 2017 writing, "Sketchiest encounter yet." The footage was taken at United Community Hospital, an abandoned hospital in Detroit, Michigan. Even approaching the building is haunting. Regardless, the team heads inside, and it looks just about how you'd imagined it. Hollowed out graffiti on every surface, water dripping from who knows where. As they explore the abandoned hospital, they find graffiti with an arrow pointing down some stairs. They head down to find a long, creepy room, the morgue. But it isn't until later in their exploration that they shine their flashlight and camera into a room and hear a voice.
Hi.
It grunts and the YouTuber responds with a hi, and then quickly turns to leave. Their pace quickens to a double step and then a run, as whomever they just encountered seems to be in hot pursuit. "We're getting out of here right now," the cameraman says. Downstairs and outside in the much less creepy light of day, the cameraman is called over by another man and given a lecture about how he's trespassing on this site. Apparently the man who they'd run into on the second floor of the building was watching this exchange from above and yelled down to the man on the ground, "You're not supposed to be here either." The man on the ground, who claims to be a worker, then proceeds to offer the YouTuber a tour of the building for a little cash.
I think it'd be nice to tour, okay? We could get you some pictures or
okay.
Nice look, whatever. And
okay, I have my wallet in the car, I could go there.
The worker claims that they're redeveloping the building, knocking down walls, but keeping the steel frame intact. I'd have to agree with the consensus in the comments of this video that El Toro was not in fact a security guard or a worker. Is this a ghost or not? Is what the uploader of this potentially paranormal video wants to know. First, let's watch this intro.
Welcome to Inspector Gadget.
As soon as he introduces himself, an object moves by itself behind him, or maybe a ghost introduces itself in return, he suspects. I think the object fell forward on its own because it was top heavy. This video could explain a lot of other alleged ghost sightings on YouTube where an object moves on its own. But I don't think this was faked on purpose, just a coincidence is all. What do you think, real ghost or not really? According to this video's uploader, this insanely creepy clip was taken on a mobile camera. I was taking video clips of a place and checking my mobile camera clarity. The author wrote, I didn't recognize ghost presence on the spot, but while going through all my mobile clips, I spotted this presence while shooting some shots of this area. In what looks to be a forested region, the videographer insists there was a child ghost staring out the window of the school directly at him, and of course the sight was disturbing. The child in the clip has long dark hair, is ghostly pale, and has sunken black holes for eyes, like the girl from The Ring. She is just standing there in the corner of a window, staring. People in the comments are on the fence about whether this video is real or fake. The girl in the window certainly looks real to me, but it seems too good to be true. There's nothing wrong with an imaginary friend, but when these friends turn evil, playtime is over. Published by Breakman in March of 2021. This video has been making the rounds in the Spanish-speaking YouTube community for good reason. The video shows a girl playing alone, or at least she first appears to be. With her doll lying beside her, the girl is reading a book. Whoever she's reading with keeps turning the page. The invisible hand seems not to bother the girl initially, as she just flips the page back and keeps on reading, but then she clearly gets frustrated with her imaginary friend's impatience and cries out about it. There also appears at times to be something peeking around the corner behind her, something with a white face. Is this imaginary friend actually a ghost that resides in the home, or is it something far more sinister? These contractors find themselves stuck on a roof after their ladder collapses, leaving them stranded 14 feet in the air with no way down. Soon they improvise a safety harness that looks to be little more than some cords haphazardly knotted together. I really doubt this design would realistically hold his weight, but let me know what you think. They are trying to figure out what to do next when they see something in the distance. Watch his feet closely and tell me if he looks like he almost loses his balance at the end.
There's a car! Come on!
Hey! Hey!
He carefully lowers himself to the bottom and manages not to break the harness. The harness appears to be very loose at the end and could have come undone at any second. They show the drop at the end and it definitely looks like they were high up enough to cause some serious damage. Kazakhstan is a country with 3 mountain regions said to hold many strange secrets. One such secret can be found by satellite on Google Earth, and it's creepy beyond belief. The lines connect to form a pentagram within a circle. No one knows why someone put such a symbol out in the middle of nowhere. It's either a hoax or an actual summoning circle right by a large body of water, which, if you believe in rituals, could be a necessary element for whatever is being cast. So let me know if you think this weird symbol was made for evil purposes or just for attention. Something tells me this was never meant to be discovered. A ghost hunter doesn't even get his equipment fully set up before he detects a paranormal presence on camera. Look how quickly this shadow moves by. The shadow moves way too fast and also turns in the opposite direction as he does, meaning it can't belong to him. Here's the shadow from a second angle, this time taken from the handheld camera. Clearly, this shadow is caused by something off camera, but whether it's human or not is up for you to decide. A feisty octopus is heading out to sea when it sees it's been caught on camera and has had enough. The creature comes forward and even throws a swing. Getting chased underwater by this deep sea creature is creepy, but the backstory is what makes this video even creepier. Moments before this was caught on camera, Bohema TV says he was swimming in the ocean when he felt something wrap around his thigh. Only when he came back to shore did he realize this was a living creature attached to him and not seaweed like he had originally thought. Here you can see it try to blend in with the rocks for a bit before giving up and swimming away. Apparently they have really sharp teeth and strong jaws, so luckily Bohema TV got away safely before getting chomped. A YouTuber named Daz Games takes a Ouija board to a 300-year-old mansion to record whatever paranormal activity he can find. His girlfriend is on the lower floor when Daz Games feels watched and this happens.
Is there anybody in here? That.
This sounds like a creepy noise that any old house would make, but the perfect timing means it almost has to be completely paranormal or completely made up. Then while explaining what he heard, Daz Games records this.
That was a definite.
This sound is much louder, more deliberate, and even harder to shrug off. It's as if the house is letting him know that yes, his suspicions are in fact correct, and something is in here with him. And immediately after this noise, you can see a ripple trace along his cheek, like someone is affectionately brushing a finger across his face. As a final test, they put chapstick on the Ouija board and challenge the ghost to make it move. I think I see Daz's girlfriend move the board though. Watch your fingers twitch at 15 minutes and 19 seconds.
Can you move it for us?
Ooh.
Fuck off.
No.
You're not even lifting it.
No.
Whether she did that on purpose or because of nerves is up to you to decide, but I don't think the ghost moved the chapstick. The other scenes, however, especially the finger across Daz's face, look real to me. Jonathan Savo published this video in January 2015. After visiting his girlfriend in a Paris hospital, he wrote that a woman in the next bed was roaring and screeching with the voice of a devil, and that's what the video captures. The woman is seen lying flat in a bed, speaking in a raspy, evil voice. She is harassing the couple, calling them tacky and ugly, and telling them they're all going to die. Although you can only see her profile in the video, and you can't see her mouth moving, what you can see is her chest rising and falling as she delivers her angry tirade of insults and threats. She then says she's going to call her mafia friend, after which she claims she's going to remove her IV drip so they can get out of the hospital. That's where the clip ends, leaving us wondering if the woman did in fact try to escape, but John doesn't leave us hanging. In his own words, he wrote, "I was no longer filming when she or it started to get up and wanted to take the life of a person sitting next to her. 5 nurses came in to stop her, and we were asked to leave the room quickly. What happened next, John doesn't know. Prior to this experience, John says he was skeptical about demonic possessions and everything related to them, but after seeing one in the flesh, he's a believer." Adam Grayson is making a YouTube video at the hospital after a reaction causes his entire hand to swell. His wedding ring presses into flesh of his finger hard enough to cut off the circulation. Now a surgeon has to cut through the thin band of metal with only a trained eye and a tiny circular saw. One slip will make the situation 10 times worse.
Ah, that's hot.
The friction from the saw creates such an intense heat that nurses must repeatedly squirt water on the ring to cool it off. They really do have to delicately cleave through every last millimeter of the ring to get it off. Here you can just see how close they have to get to Adam's finger before they are able to pry it off. Adam's finger is red and tender. When they are finally finished with the procedure, there is no doubt that in my mind that he would have eventually lost an index finger had he not gotten to the hospital in time. Nothing will make you want to skip work more than this next video. Published by Real Ghost in September of 2015, this ghost was captured in an office one night. The video shows a darkened room. As the camera pans around, a semi-transparent robed figure appears in a window to the kitchen. When the camera quickly pans back, the figure is no longer there. Are we dealing with an office ghost straight from Tales of the Crypt? He's definitely not here to do some light paperwork. Most videos of unidentified flying object sightings are out of focus or simply blinking lights. This one is the opposite of that. The video shows a saucer-shaped flying object sitting in an open field near forest and mountains. You can see at least one figure outside the vehicle standing to its left. A close-up shown later in the footage reveals that the creature is the quintessential Martian. Overly large cranium, long thin limbs and all. After the Martian returns inside, a launching sound is heard. As the vehicle's engine revs up, in an instant the saucer shoots straight upward. The suddenness of the launch causes the person holding the camera to drop the shot downward before racing away on foot. What would you do if you encountered this at the edge of the forest? I just know I wouldn't be sticking around to find out. I don't want to go to Mars just yet. A YouTuber published this raw footage of the 7.1 quake in Mexico in 2017 that devastated Mexico City and the surrounding areas. The footage shows that commuters remain calm despite the subway and platform and everyone swaying around them. Some chose to get on the train, probably in order to sit down and stop feeling seasick from the swaying. The powerful quake hit Mexico City where at least 361 people were reported passed away in the city and the surrounding areas. Nerve-wracking as this subway platform may be, I'd rather be there than in the chaos of collapsing buildings above. The old Baraboo Inn is over 150 years old and one of the most haunted places in the state of Wisconsin. The building was abandoned from 1988 to 2002, 14 years total, and when they reopened, they were surprised by the ghost of a man in the basement. A paranormal investigator named Sarah stands at the top of the steps to communicate with the ghost in the basement. Soon, paranormal activity is setting off, both their music box and motion detecting equipment. It seems the phantom figure has come to haunt them all. Soon after, they are trying to figure out more mysterious things. Captured on video is something strange standing in front of the speakers. A ghostly figure appears to have climbed out of the dark basement to dance in front of the large speakers.
That's definitely not picking up on the speaker. Something's there? Let me see. Oh yeah, there's a figure there.
You got a good one.
We got 2 pieces of solid evidence right now.
Creepy things continue when the ghost is later caught hiding in the basement. As it turns out, this basement has a dark secret I've never before told you. Down here was the spot for a man who would wrap his hands around innocent women's necks. Someone too dangerous for this world who did not live for long, because he caused others great suffering whenever he found the chance, and now the ghost has its sightings set on them. One of the ghost hunters is too busy paying attention to his paranormal meter to notice Sarah can no longer breathe. Check out these strange and mysterious unexplained moments caught on camera for yourself.
Mind if I do a flash? You okay, Sarah? I can't. Okay, come on. This is not cool. You want to get out to it?
Sarah is overwhelmed with fear and is blacked out at this point.
Battery's running low on there.
Later, she reports feeling two hands wrap around her neck and tightly squeeze, much like the man who haunts this restaurant is said to do. She is escorted out of the haunted building by two other investigators who are trying not to panic. It seems the spirit has made its point, and the remaining ghost hunters don't stay to see what devious paranormal activity it has planned for them next. This investigation, which I think looks real, is now over. This hunter captured the prey of his life while on an expedition. Published by Bigfoot's Testimony in January of 2022, the mysterious encounter occurred in a wooded area in Ohio. The footage shows a strange, grassy-looking creature creeping between the trees on a snowy fall day. The man says the creature's hair is gray or black.
His hair's gray and black. Is that gray? Is that snow?
Zooming in, the figure is barely discernible from its surroundings, like he's camouflaged. Most in the comments confirm that they've seen similar creatures in the forest. Tanner Urza writes, "These beings are very spiritual and in tune with nature." Others note that at some points it looks like a barely visible, partially invisible shadow. Is this the Grassman of Ohio, or do we have another legendary creature on our hands? Either way, I think I'll be staying clear of that forest. World War II history hunter came upon a German bunker that he claims has been hidden for more than 70 years, until now. In the video, he arrives at a makeshift defense bunker that's positioned towards a field. Rocks are stacked for cover, and he says he was hoping something would be found in this area. He says he Google Earthed the region and found the bunker buried here. After exploring the surroundings, he finally comes across the impressive concrete bunker built into the earth, completely camouflaged in the dirt. Prior to its excavation, the front of the war bunker was covered in stone, but it had been dug up by the time this YouTuber visited the place. Near the excavation site sits a flat gun barrel cooler bathtub completely intact. One side of the bunker wall is covered in rock, but part of the area is open so the door is accessible. The hunter heads inside the bunker. There is a hole on the ground filled with water. A heavy rusted two-part door with a shutter for the gunner to spy who was standing on the other side before opening the door. Further inside, he finds the bunker's oven sitting right on the floor. An emergency exit shaft is built into one wall, with a drum barrel on the opposite end. The ground is flooded with water, which he assumes is quite deep. There are hooks in the ceiling and remnants of some structure on the wall, which the hunter assumes are signs of the bunker's beds. Navigating through the old bunker is like diving back into another era for the viewer, so we can only imagine what it was like for this YouTuber to explore the place in person. Creepy lights in a dark basement, a sure sign that something in your house has gone wrong. A YouTuber named the Drum Player 101 has a quick clip of something strange caught on camera.
Lately I've been seeing and hearing weird things in my basement. Let's go check it out.
Oh.
What? Go.
Glowing eyes look back at them from within the darkness, and the two scared brothers run away. When they return for a second, they find it still there, a small creature low to the ground with large, unblinking eyes. They say it's a ghost, but it could be a fake video using their pet cat. I thought it was weird of them to keep their cat in the basement, in the dark, but I looked it up, and sometimes they do like curling up in small, isolated spaces. At 13 seconds, it looks like the animal is raising its head like it was taking a nap. cat eyes can reflect a large array of colors, and blue, while not as common, is not unheard of, so I don't believe this video is real. With that said, this video of creepy eyes watching you from the darkness could help explain all of the other similar videos like it. Number 2. A Russian YouTuber plays Russian roulette with poltergeists in this paranormal footage, published to YouTube by Dark Ghost in March of 2021. This poltergeist activity was captured by cameras installed in the haunted home, as well as cameras operated by the ghost hunter who was brave enough to enter. The first instance of paranormal activity comes when a camera that he installed in one room captures a cupboard being moved on its own. It scrapes across the floor and comes to a halt in the middle of the room. And after hearing the noise, the ghost hunter enters to see for himself. The room appears empty, but he soon realizes it's not. An entire wardrobe nearly falls directly on him. There is no space behind the wardrobe for someone to have stood and pushed it over. So what caused this heavy furniture to fall? In a state of shock, having barely escaped with his life, the ghost hunter sets up his spirit box to talk with the spirit. It asks him clear as day who he is and why he's here. The spirit tells him that it is dangerous. When he asks what is, she says his occupation. The spirit tells him that the souls of the passed away have heard him. She also notes that they're not all good ones. After a while, she refuses to answer any more questions. When the ghost hunter returns to the room where the cupboard moved and the wardrobe nearly took his life, everything has returned to its place. As he settles in for the night, somehow catching some shut-eye while stretched out on wooden chairs, a spot of light bursts above him, and he springs to his feet. He said that at that point he felt a bitter cold. Once you've nearly had your life taken and feel the temperature drop, it's probably time to pack it in and call it a night. A YouTuber named RevoX encounters a wild pheasant in the graveyard that is not at all afraid. The colorful bird looks over its shoulder to make sure he is watching, and then takes the lead, guiding him someplace quite important that I'll reveal in just a moment. It hops off the road, and at 1 minute and 8 seconds, walks this little beaten trail of matted grass.
Have you ever seen anything like it before?
That's been trampled over many times before. The determined little bird stops and circles back to the human, again showing absolutely no signs of fear. It even looks straight at him, at the end like it knows what is being said.
There's my mum's grave, and it will remain, as it has done for the past few days, going round and round it.
So is this a real spirit guide or just a pet? Some Native Americans believed pheasants to be a sign of protection and concealment because they like to bury themselves in tall grass. A creepy behavior when taken within the context of a graveyard. They can be tamed, but even if this is a pet, I don't think you can teach it to lead you somewhere for over a minute, and I never see it get a food treat as a reward or anything, so I think it's real. The Life of Luxury team sets out to investigate a matter of a father turned monster demon in this scary video, published in May of 2021. Parker and Chester are on a mission to help 18-year-old Bailey, who returned home from college, to find her family had mysteriously disappeared. Apart from her father Stanley, only Stanley has changed, and Parker and Chester are there to find out why. Footage from Bailey and from the night's events show a harrowing and foreboding tale of a father who turned to the dark side. In one clip shot by Bailey, she asks what he is doing, and her father, elongated and towering near a doorway, tells her to come closer.
Closer.
He appears to be holding something. What could it be? Parker and Chester are about to find out. They arrive at Bailey's house and find a scary video. Amongst Stanley's possessions, that's almost vaudevillain in nature. A bald man dressed in a black leotard is dancing. A painfully thin man is rocking, crouched in a darkened room. A terror of a face keeps peering out. What does this mean? It's all too creepy. Later, when all three of them go to sleep, a hidden camera captures this creature shortly after midnight crawling out from under the bed. It's Stanley, or is it? The creature's mysteriously long limbs are bent grotesquely. The demon makes hideous noises before watching his favorite video. The vaudeville one we saw earlier. It then busts through the TV for no apparent reason with its long-limbed karate chop. After this, it slowly creeps across the room and enters the hallway. While Bailey is sleeping, the demon reaches in and pulls her off her bed. Bailey shrieks at the top of her lungs, but to no avail. Later, the demon, claiming to be Bailey, tries to lure Chester into the closet, only to be grabbed by the demon, who tries to pull him into the hole that's located inside the closet on the floor.
Hello? Who's that?
Luckily, Parker is there to save him, but it may be too late for Bailey.
Here's Chester screaming.
While all the boys made it out alive this time, they were nearly drawn into the depths of the abyss, a place they surely would never have escaped. Thank you so much for getting me to 20,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers next. Thank you.